A 3-second difference in how fast you can stand from a chair 5 times predicted survival better than cardio fitness in an 8-year JAMA study of 5,472 women, and researchers say most people over 50 don't even know this gap exists. The cutoff that separated the two groups in that study was 11 seconds versus 14.
In February 2026, the University at Buffalo published a landmark study in JAMA Network Open tracking more than 5,400 women between ages 63 and 99 for 8 years. The finding rewrites 4 decades of fitness guidance. Muscle strength predicted survival independently of how much cardio those women did. Today you will get your own score on the 2 tests the researchers used, understand exactly what drives the number, and learn the minimum effective dose of training that moves it.
Here is your number to beat: 11 seconds. That is the time researchers used for 5 unassisted sit-to-stand chair raises. Sit in a standard chair, arms crossed over your chest, feet flat on the floor. Stand fully upright 5 times as fast as you can. Start timing now. If you completed 5 stands in under 11 seconds, your lower body strength is in a range the JAMA researchers associated with stronger physical function outcomes. Over 14 seconds, the picture shifts. This is not a pass-fail, it is a baseline. Write that number down, because every section from here explains what controls it and how to move it. But here is what makes the study genuinely surprising. Women who did not meet standard cardio guidelines still showed strong functional outcomes, as long as their strength score held. Cardio volume did not compensate for weak legs. Strength carried the signal on its own, and that distinction has not appeared this clearly in research before.
The University at Buffalo team, led by Dr. Michael Lamonte, followed 5,472 ambulatory women with a mean age of 78.7 years. Every participant wore an accelerometer for 7 consecutive days, giving the researchers objective, not self-reported, data on physical activity. They also measured grip strength and chair stand time, then tracked outcomes for 8 years. When researchers controlled for walking speed, sedentary hours, cardiovascular inflammation markers, and aerobic activity levels, muscle strength still predicted survival outcomes on its own. Women in the highest grip strength group showed markedly stronger survival associations than those in the weakest group, and that pattern held after every statistical adjustment the team applied. The word the researchers used was robust. Strength signal survived every control variable they tested. That word matters, because it means the association is not a coincidence or a shadow of being generally healthy. But why does strength carry that signal at all? That answer is stranger than the statistic itself.
Most people think of muscle as the thing that moves their body. Researchers now describe it as a metabolic organ, closer in function to the liver than to a pulley system. Skeletal muscle is the body's primary site for glucose disposal after a meal. When muscle mass declines, blood sugar regulation becomes less efficient, metabolic strain increases, and the downstream pressure on multiple organ systems rises. A 2026 review in iScience described skeletal muscle dysfunction as a connector linking metabolic syndrome, physical decline, and reduced health span. That is the mechanism behind the JAMA numbers. Strength is not just useful for getting out of a chair. Muscle is the body's largest insulin-sensitive tissue, and when it shrinks, every other system works harder to compensate. After age 50, muscle mass falls roughly 1 to 2% per year. Strength declines faster, about 1.5% annually between 50 and 60, then closer to 3% per year after that. The clock is running, but there is a very specific dose of training that slows it, and it is smaller than you think.
The second test from the JAMA study requires a hand dynamometer for a precise number. But there is a reliable proxy you can do right now. Hold a full 1-liter water bottle at arm's length and squeeze it as hard as you can for 5 seconds without the other hand helping. If the bottle visibly deforms, your grip is in a functional range. If it feels loose or your forearm fatigues before 5 seconds, take note. For reference, the JAMA study used a clinical grip strength threshold of roughly 20 kilograms of force for women as a low strength marker. Men's benchmarks run higher. What matters most is the trend over time. Grip strength declines with the same muscle fibers that power your legs, your back, and your ability to recover from a stumble. It is a window into the whole system. A 2025 BBC Future analysis described grip strength as more predictive than blood pressure for physical function and independence in later life. Your blood pressure is probably on your doctor's chart. Your grip strength almost certainly is not.
Nothing in this research argues that cardio is useless. A 30-year observational study of nearly 147,000 adults published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in June 2026 found that combining strength training with aerobic activity was associated with better physical outcomes than either form of exercise alone. People who did both showed the strongest longevity associations across the dataset. The point is not that cardio is wrong. The point is that cardio alone leaves a signal on the table that only strength training can collect. The JAMA team found no significant functional advantage between women who met the standard 150 minutes per week aerobic guideline and those who did not, when strength scores were equal. Strength leveled the playing field that cardio volume created. For anyone over 50 who has been walking daily and wondering why that feels like enough, here is the honest answer. It is necessary, but it is not sufficient. The body needs a specific kind of load that walking does not deliver. That load has a minimum effective dose, and the June 2026 data identifies it precisely.
The British Journal of Sports Medicine's 30-year dataset found that 90 to 120 minutes of resistance training per week was associated with the strongest physical function and longevity outcomes in the data. That is, 2 45 to 60-minute sessions, or 3 30-minute sessions. Researchers observed associations between that range and better cardiometabolic markers, improved neurological function scores, and stronger physical capability measures compared with inactive groups. Benefit in physical function measures appeared at even lower doses. As little as 1 to 29 minutes per week of resistance training was associated with meaningfully better outcomes than none at all. You do not need a gym. The chair stand you just did is resistance training. Bodyweight squats, wall push-ups, and calf raises from a kitchen counter all qualify. The resistance your own body provides, applied consistently and progressively, is enough to move the numbers the JAMA study measured. Progressive means slightly harder over time, one more repetition, a slower tempo, a shallower hold. The signal your muscles need is simply load plus consistent challenge.
Take the two numbers you have now, your chair stand time and your honest grip assessment. Those are not fitness scores, they are a current snapshot of how efficiently your skeletal muscle is doing its metabolic job. The research does not ask you to be elite. It asks you to be stronger than you are today, measured against yourself, tracked over months. Dr. Lamonte's team described strength as reflecting the coordinated health of multiple body systems simultaneously: muscle, bone, nervous system, and metabolism. When those systems work together efficiently, the body handles the demands of daily life, illness, and injury with more reserve. That reserve is trainable. Twice a week, 45 minutes, body weight or light resistance. Check your chair stand time again in 30 days. The number will move. Aging is not something that happens to you while you wait. It is a set of signals your body sends, and the research now tells us exactly which signal carries the most information. You just measured it.
Put your chair stand time in the comments right now. It takes 5 stands and a stopwatch, and coming back to beat your own number in 30 days is the entire protocol. If you want the follow-up on exactly which bodyweight exercises move the chair stand number fastest, that video is linked next.